Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I thought I'd do a video for you waterproofing a receiver for your RC, truck, truggy, buggy, whatever it happens to be going in, even boats. Anyways, so you're going to need a couple of things. I'm using plastic dip for this one, a couple of glasses, stick. Going to also need a, you will need a zip tie because you're going to have to loop off your wires here so you can hang this thing to dry. You're also going to need, for this one, some electrical tape, or you could even use Scotch tape if you wanted to, but I'm going to use electrical tape. And what I'm going to do with this is I don't want to cover the hole for my fail-safe button or my light. So I want to be able to get access to that still. So we're going to cut some electrical tape and we're going to just go across those two spots right there, because we're going to want to pull this tape after. Okay? And I'm just going to leave this actually dangle a little bit. Fold it over like so. And we'll see if we can trim off the side here. Oh, I have to do this off the thing. Okay. So we've got our electrical tape on here now. Let's fold it over. Now you want to fold the other end here because you don't want it to go loop around and stick on you on the other side. You want to be able to get this off after. You're also going to need extension wires. Okay. The idea behind the extension wires is so that you'll still be able to plug your stuff in, unplug it if you have to change, your ESC out or servo, etc. If you have to rebind your unit. Channel 3 on this receiver is also a bind plug area. Or if you're using channel 3, you can still use channel 3. But if you need to rebind, you'll have to unplug your channel 3 and rebind, of course, because it's the only bind system on this little machine. And like I said, we do have a fail-safe on this one, and what the fail-safe does is if you run out of range, your batteries in your radio die, all of a sudden your car will stop dead in its tracks. So instead of going crazy on you and you don't get it back too easily, or something happens. So the other thing you're going to need to do is label your wires, because once you waterproof all this stuff, you're going to need to know which wire is which. So it'd be a good idea to actually label these in some form or another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some nail polish here, and I'm going to make channel 1 red. I'm just going to cover it like this, and we'll let that sit for a minute. And same as your other channel 2. Channel 2 is actually going to be, in this case it's like a greenish blue. So we're just going to paint that up. And then this way we know that this is actually channel 2. So we'll let that sit like that. So these can now sit for a few minutes. Channel 3 I'm not going to worry about coloring. I'll just leave it black. So channel 3 is going to be black, or bind. And so to remember this stuff, you might want to actually write it down as well, so that you don't forget how you label and color your different wires. So we've got channel 1 is red. CH1 red, CH2 is the bluey color. And nail polish is nice too because it's not going to come off that easy even over time. Channel 3 is default black. Which is also bind. For this receiver, it's a bind socket. Anyways, and of course, like I said, tape that over. When we remove this tape, what we're going to do is we're going to actually take either some clear silicone or even a couple of dabs of hot glue very carefully and then just cover over top. This way we won't get any kind of water seepage coming in, and you'll still be able to see that red light if you need to see the red light. Now I've taken my last slot here, which is actually for if you don't have a BEC, you've got the battery here so you can power your receiver. I'm leaving that port open on here because I have no use for it, so any of the plastic dip that actually gets inside here isn't going to matter, so I'm not going to worry about it, and everything's going to get nicely sealed up. So I'm going to let this stuff dry for at least a good 20 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll get on with the whole waterproofing thing. Okay guys, so we're back now and getting ready to dunk this thing. Just been shaking the can like crazy here to make sure it's well mixed. As I say, you gotta mix this stuff before you use it. After this I'll have to be stirring it, but oh well. Anyway, so the basic instructions on here for dipping. Attach a wire string to hang the item, got that. Insert item once every 5 seconds, withdrawal at same rate. Allow 30 minutes minimum between coats. Apply as many coats as desired. Allow 4-hour minimum dry time before you go and use it. And then of course that's for dipping. Then of course they have their brushing part here as well, and blah blah blah. So it coats, seals, protects, color codes, metal, wood, glass, rubber, concrete, fabrics, fiberglass, rope, etc., etc. So let's try this stuff out. I've watched a lot of videos myself on how to do this, and you know, I thought I'd try this and see how well it goes. So here goes nothing, I guess. So we'll get that out of the way. Now, what I'm gonna want to do, I think, is, I guess we can just dunk it in this way. I'll just let it drip there for a minute. I think, you know, one coat's going to probably do this thing just pretty much perfect. Okay, I think we'll go one more dunk and we'll go a little bit deeper into the wires. Actually looks really good. And this stuff does shrink as it dries, which is another thing, is you let it sit for a while, see how much it shrunk in, make sure it didn't make any gaps anywhere, that sort of thing. because you want to make sure that there's no way for any kind of water to get inside. Okay, so we'll put our lid back on. And we'll carefully set this up. And that's it. So we'll check this out in a half an hour, come back, see how it's doing, and if we do need to redunk it, it says we need to wait 30 minutes anyhow. So I'll set a oh, actually I'm going to set my stopwatch because I can actually check on it every once in a while. So we'll let that run, and we'll see you shortly. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So it's been a half an hour now that this has been sitting, and I'm thinking we might just leave it the way it is. It's looking pretty good there. So just the 2 little quick coats there worked really well. It did kind of make a little bit of drippiness go on, as you can see, but you know, hey, for first one, that's actually pretty much not too bad. Now I do have to let this thing sit for the whole 4 hours because it's got to cure up, and then I can get rid of the tape here. So once that time period expires, we'll come back, show you the finished product. Hey guys, how's it going? Well, it hasn't been quite 4 hours yet, but it's been long enough that this stuff's setting up really good. And the really thing I found was really cool was my electrical tape was actually being pushed out of the way by the plastic dip, which was awesome, and it left everything nice and clean when I pulled the tape, so everything's shrinking in really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a hot glue stick that's clear, and I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to let it cool a bit, and then I'm going to make myself basically a little plug for where the button is for the failsafe. And then I'm going to put some hot glue over top of the red light. And this is going to actually help out a great deal with more waterproofing in this area, and I'll be able to see my red light, and this plug I'll be able to pull whenever I want to if I have to reactivate the failsafe at any time. So basically I took some hot glue, wrapped it around the dowel here. I'm going to just let it start setting up for a minute. Okay, now I can carefully pull this off, and I just make it into like a little ball, and I need it a little bit smaller, so trim a little bit of that. Just fit that a little bit more trim in there. I'm going to have to use the side cutters on this part. I don't want it to drop right inside, but I also don't want it to be pushed down on the button. Okay, so we got a little plug there. So now we'll heat up some glue again. This time we'll use the pointy end of the stick. What I want to do here is I want to hold this down just a bit, and I can basically tack it in place like so. This way none of the hot glue can make it inside. Hot glue peels off the wood really nice too, so you can clean your stick pretty easily. So we'll let that set up for just a minute. That's pretty good. Okay, so we'll heat it up again. And take a larger amount this time. And we're just going to kind of paint it in place here type of thing. A little bit on that one edge, so I can heat up whatever's on my stick that's left over here. And we're just going to go along the edge just a little bit in here. Looks like everything got sealed up really well. Okay, so we'll let that sit for the remainder of the time that it needs, which is another 12:30, hour and a half, and then we'll be ready to install this into our truck. So we'll see you shortly. Hey guys, how's it going? So we're still, it's about 50 minutes short of the 4 hours, but this thing's really dry. You know, it's another hour isn't really going to make any real difference to it. So I thought I'd hook everything up anyway. And one thing I should mention is the connectors here. They are keyed on the extensions. So even if you put them in the right way on your receiver, it may not turn out to be the same wiring for your equipment, because these are the Futaba compatible cables, which I figured, well, everything should just, you know, go together as it should. But apparently I had to, I'll just take this apart. I had to actually take the little key piece that was on this one and snip it off with a pair of snips, so that I could put the wiring in the right direction, because its little key thing, unless it was assembled wrong at the factory, but otherwise, I mean, you may be able to switch these around. But to get the colors to match up so that you actually know that your colors are in the right way, I had to snip that, which is fine because it still plugs straight in, eh? So you may have to do that modification, or you may not, depending on the radio equipment you're working with. I mean, this machine's from 1994. It's an old machine. You know, it had an electronic speed control in it. Now it's got, you know, a regular brush speed control and, you know, that sort of stuff, and, you know, better motor, etc. But anyways, I did the gluing job here. I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit here for you. So this has all been glued up and all cured now, and we'll just put some power to this thing. And the way it's glued too, I can just peel that glue right off and get access back to my failsafe button, because that's all it is, because your binding is all done through this cable. Turn the radio on. And as you can see, let's see, zoom out a little bit. Nope, out. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. You can see that the red button here is, or the red light is actually lit on the receiver, so you can see your red light that it is glowing, and so at least you know your receiver is bound and it's, you know, properly and functional. So everything works great. So next thing we're going to do is figure out exactly how we're going to mount this thing and bunch all the wires up together the way they need to be, and this project will come to a close. So I'll be right back once I get all that put in. Okay guys, well, we got it all wired in, I think about as best as we're gonna get it for now anyways, but everything's locked away, tucked up, still just enough play to keep things safe. And I strapped the receiver onto the top of the old original bracket, because the bracket here actually holds the original receiver in place plus the battery. So now it's just gonna serve a purpose up top here, because there's no real room underneath to do what I wanted to do. But there's the original receiver that came out of there, so pretty big in comparison to the little guy, and a lot less weight too, so which is nice. But so anyway, that's it. That's our plastic dipping, and you know, our a little bit of clear there, which is actually clear hot glue. Works just as well as the silicone. It's not a high heat area, so no biggie. So anyways, that's it. We'll check you guys out later. I'm gonna go take this thing for a spin. Thanks for watching.